Hello and welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G. I'm a student meteorologist with your weather forecast for you as we are working our way through Monday, and hopefully everybody's back at school and you're able to go back to work. Everybody's healthy and you're having a great day. So I know we had a lot of changes in the weather over the last week or so, and it's really cold out there over most of the country, with the exception being the West Coast, where conditions are very nice still on the West Coast. And down in Florida, it's the warm spot across the country where we've been seeing lows in the 70s and daytime highs in the 80s. The only place that's seeing 80s right now is South Florida, down there by Miami. So if you want a warm spot, everybody head down to Florida and mess up their highways. But anyway, it's pretty cold across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes in the Northeast. We've been dealing with a lot of lake effect snow over the weekend and into your Monday. We've been seeing a lot of that snow, and in some areas it's going to be quite a bit of snow. Several inches of snow has fallen in places like Buffalo and Syracuse. Cleveland is just starting to see snow. You saw mostly rain over the weekend, as well as in Pittsburgh, but you're going to start to see, or if not already seeing, that lake effect snow move into your area. So let's take a look at our first cold map here and talk about the current conditions across the country. Here is that lake effect snow across the Great Lakes and over towards parts of the Northeast. As you can see there, Michigan is pretty inundated with that lake effect snow. Both the Upper Peninsula and the boot of Michigan, we're seeing that lake effect snow. And we're also seeing lake effect snow over western New York and parts of Ohio and even into southern Canada. In Ontario, we're seeing that lake effect snow. Other areas that's seeing a little bit of snow is over here in the Central Plains and through parts of the Northern Plains, where we have a weak system that's in place there that is causing some snow flurries. So a few snow flurries through parts of the plains today, but none of that will be too measurable, so we're not expecting too many complications from that very, very light activity in the western United States. A-OK, looking rather nice in the West Coast and down to the south as well. As you can see, that big area of high pressure that's dominating the weather on the West Coast. But thinking of the West Coast, we do have some rain that we're going to talk about in just a moment here on the immediate West Coast. But again, let's focus on our lake effect snow in the Northeast and into the Great Lakes. So Michigan is really bullseye for that lake effect snow. Both northern Michigan and the boot of Michigan, and western New York, northwestern Pennsylvania, and parts of upstate New York too, where we're seeing that heavier amounts of snow, lake effect snow, where some areas like Syracuse can pick up 24 to 36 inches of that lake effect snow through Wednesday. So we can see some isolated areas pick up as much as 48 inches of that lake effect snow. So a pretty widespread lake effect snow event, and it's pretty significant. Lots of travel delays, especially if you are in a west-facing area to a lake. You're going to be seeing that lake effect snow out there this week. And again, we're going to see more snow on Tuesday as we have a weak weather system that's going to be moving over Canada, but it's going to also enhance and reinforce the lake effect of that snow. So we're going to still see heavier snow here over western Pennsylvania, southwestern New York, upstate New York, and over parts of Michigan. We're going to see that enhancement of that lake effect snow. So again, that storm system is going to enhance that snow. Again, as we head into another added concern or weather phenomenon is going to be high winds. So winds from the west-northwest will be gusting up to 60 miles an hour in some locations. We can see winds that high. So it's going to definitely cause travel disruptions on the highways, and we can see isolated winds as high as 65 miles per hour. And we're also going to be seeing blowing snow and decorations getting blown around and localized damage from those very high winds. So please be careful on the highways or anything like that, because some power outages also will be possible with some of that snow and those very high winds. Okay, so as we move on through your Tuesday, we're going to see that midwinter cold. It's going to feel like mid-December, February out there as far as the cold temperatures. But we're going to see some areas as feel that negative 10 to 0. And then some areas we're going to see those wind chills 20 to 30 degrees. So if you are in an area where we're going to see a wind chill warning in effect, or a wind chill advisory, remember that frostbite can take place within 10 minutes. So please cover your sleeves, your hands up with some really thick gloves, put your hoods on, or cover your heads and things like that. You don't want any exposed skin in this kind of cold. It's going to be brutally cold, very windy out there. So we're going to see those wind chills. And again, that lake effect snow is going to be continuing in your forecast through Wednesday. So early Wednesday, we're going to see that cold spread to the south, even across the southeastern U.S., all the way down through Raleigh, down along the Gulf Coast. It's going to get cold enough, and we're going to feel the effects of that cold, and we're going to see those wind chills in the 20 to 30 degree range. So we're going to see bitterly cold wind chills almost all the way to the Gulf Coast, and we're going to see those temperatures in the 30s in North Florida. So we're going to see bitterly cold, at least as far as you're concerned. This is going to be brutal, bitterly cold down in Florida with those 30s, 20s through the Mid-South. So states like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi is going to see those morning lows in the 20s and see those those wind chills in the teens to 20s. So it's going to be cold and a little bit breezy as well. So it's going to feel colder than what these temperatures are saying. So on the West Coast, it's been a different story, but there will be a weak storm along the West Coast that's going to bring showers to San Francisco and all the way to LA and San Diego through Tuesday night into Wednesday night. We're going to see a few light showers, very light rainfall amounts, not too much to worry about. It's going to make the road slippery out there, and you know, in places where you don't get much rainfall, LA, San Diego in particular, the oil and the grease on the roadways comes up when that rain falls, especially light rain. It kind of seeps up to the top on the wet surfaces, so it can make the roadway a little bit slipperier than typically. So again, those road conditions can be a problem down in the southwest in the LA and Orange County and San Diego areas, because you don't see much rainfall. It doesn't wash off that oil, and it's not going to be heavy rain, so it's not going to wash off. It's just going to be right there coming up on the surface. So it's going to be a little bit extra slippery. So be careful out there if you're driving on the highways when that rainfall begins in about the midweek or so. Again, once that storm moves on to the West Coast, we're going to see a series of weaker storm systems affect the western U.S. Friday through Monday. So we come to the end of the week and into the next week, we're going to see that potential there for snow in the Rockies and rain along the West Coast. And we're going to see some heavier rainfall here between Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco, where we're going to see heavier rainfall amounts. And we're going to see heavy snow through parts of Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, and parts of Idaho, western Oregon and Washington, and through Montana as well, up there near Glacier National Park. And we're going to see heavier snow moving through parts of Colorado. So east of Salt Lake City, we're going to begin to see that snow affect the Rockies as well as we head into the weekend and into next week. Okay, so the midweek, as far as the national scene is concerned, pleasant weather across the southwest, dry weather in the northwest, Going to get a little bit milder across the upper Midwest and the northern plains, and we're going to see those temperatures. Well, we've been seeing them in the teens and 20s. We're going to see some 30s and maybe some 40s creep in there. So that's going to feel very nice. Storm system down across the central plains. It's going to bring some rain and thunderstorms about the midweek. So and over to near Friday, we're going to start to see the potential for some severe weather in Texas and Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. We're going to be watching those areas for the potential of severe weather. But it's going to remain chilly across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley and through parts of the Mid-South and the Southeast as well. It's going to get downright cold, all things considered, for those regions. So, again, something to be prepared for and bundle up for that cold weather. I know you guys aren't used to it, but get ready because you're being forewarned right now. All right, so, again, we're going to take one last look at the nice weather we're going to see across the west and the southwest for your Tuesday. Nice in Arizona and California. Going to be a little bit chilly over the Mogollon Rim and the Central Rockies there, but nice weather will take place across the southern plains and the central plains. So Kansas down through North Texas, we're going to see a little bit milder, a little bit warmer. So that's going to be very nice. As high pressure is going to bring up some warmer air from the south. A little bit of humidity is going to start to come in as well, as we're going to have low pressure developing just to the west there, and that's going to bring showers and thunderstorms. So by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, we're going to see this storm system displace that high pressure. That high pressure is going to move off to the east. That trough and that low pressure is going to move in. That's going to warm air and back some Gulf moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico and into the deep south and the Mississippi River Valley and parts of the Gulf Coast. So we're going to see showers and thunderstorms with the potential for some severe weather, but you're also going to see some beneficial rainfall through parts of the Gulf Coast and the deep south that's running a pretty severe drought deficit right now. So that is your weather forecast for the beginning of your work week. My name is Mr. G, a student at Mississippi State studying meteorology, and I will be back tomorrow with another weather forecast to update things as things progress. I will see y'all in the next video. Leave your likes, comments, and subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on TikTok. Bye-bye.